Well, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're listening from today. It is Thursday and it is the 16th of May, and it was a glorious day here in Manitoba. And I get excited about this call every Thursday because I get to work with Judy Friesen. She is a well known health coach and she's been in this business for a long time. And I can't wait to get this started today because we're going to talk about the compound effect of everything, but we're going to talk about it in light of light waves. So let's get it going right now. Well, Judy, I know you weren't there, but that video, when it played in Orlando last year, just got everybody excited. Welcome to the call, Judy Friesen. How are you today out there in Abbotsford, BC?
Thank you, Carl. It's good to be with you here. And yes, I'm really sorry I missed that convention, but I love that moniker of LifeWave Heart to Heart, because this is what we're all about, really, is caring about people. This is why you and I are doing what we're doing. It's about heart to heart and showing love on this planet to people who need it.
And we believe that when it is conveyed, when a message is conveyed heart to heart, people connect. And it really fits well with that old saying that we know: people don't care what you know until they know how much you care. And we, in this LifeWave community, in this wonderful community of all natural health, we want to convey to people out there, there's hope and we care.
Absolutely right. And I'm excited to be here. I have a lot of really fun things to share with you. I've been taking a course on health and cancer prevention, and there's a lot of tidbits that go hand in hand with this whole concept of light therapy. So yeah, I'm excited about today's half hour.
So we've got a little short video teed up. We want to share it with you. And it talks about the LifeWave product, particularly the X39. And what kind of intro do you want to give before we play that, Judy? Because we're going to be bouncing off this video and talking about LifeWave X39 and the compound effect of using it. Tell our audience about this video and why it's important to watch it.
Yeah, this is just a very general introduction overview. And this patch technology that we're talking about, this wearable technology, which harnesses your own body heat, body light. This video really is showcasing the most amazing invention that's ever happened in the field of natural health. And that is wearing a patch that can actually help your body repair itself, to stimulate those cells that we know of as stem cells to help repair itself. And so it's been called the X39. And a lot of people will ask, what does the 39 mean? And it just simply happens to be the 39th patch invention that David Schmidt, who is the founder and CEO and scientist of LifeWave. So I think that the video speaks for itself. So let's roll it and then we can talk about it afterwards.
Absolutely. I think you're going to enjoy this, folks.
That activates your stem cells to a younger, healthier state to give you a whole new level of vitality. The patch works by using phototherapy to elevate a peptide in the body that normally declines with age. The benefits are numerous. The X39 patch will improve your energy and sleep, reduce your pain, smooth out the appearance of lines and wrinkles in your skin, and support faster wound healing, just to name a few. And the best part? X39 works no matter where you place it on your body. Our studies were based on 2 locations. The first one is at the base of your neck, as you see here. The other location is just below the belly button, as shown here. But remember, you really can place it anywhere. Be sure to apply the patch to clean, dry skin in the morning. You can wear the X39 patch for up to 12 hours. Stay well hydrated while you're using it. LifeWave's X39. You have to experience it to believe it.
Nothing could be further from the truth on that, Judy. With this topic, this podcast that we're doing weekly, age reversing health seems so far-fetched that you think you're watching Indiana Jones and the search of the Holy Grail, the cup that Christ drank from that had healing properties and so forth. But it has achieved we are achieving age reversing health.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like your computer or your phone. Sometimes you have to reboot it. You have to restart it for things to work really well and smoothly. And we have found that in the human body, when you can reboot or send a stimulation to your genes and they can reset themselves, then that actually creates a youthful, new kind of health. When your genes aren't functioning right, you aren't functioning well. And so we've found out that there's actually a peptide in the body that will hit that reset button for our genes. Not all of them, but at least a third of our genome.
Who was the person that discovered this? Because it has nothing to do with LifeWave. This protein enzyme, and I think you're going to correct me on that, this copper peptide was discovered by somebody else, but it's made its mark, right?
Exactly. Like over 50 years of research, a doctor named Dr. Lauren Picard actually studied this peptide. There's many peptides that you can study, but he happened to study the copper peptide. And so when you look at all the research and the medical studies, we know now, this is a scientific fact. This is not just LifeWave saying this. This is a scientific fact. And you can look at the published studies in PubMed, that when you elevate the copper peptide in a human being, that is the peptide that seems to excite the stem cells, which is what we know stem cells do, which is to help repair.
Absolutely. So you mentioned science. Science is a big part of LifeWave. David Schmidt will always tell you at some point in a presentation that he's not a doctor. And neither are we giving this presentations, but we do have doctors in our LifeWave community. The point is, David is a scientist, and everything about LifeWave and the patches is rooted in science. Talk about those for just a minute here. What is the scientific background to LifeWave?
Yeah, you're right. You and I are not doctors, and this podcast is not about healing, treating, diagnosing, or suggesting curing. We are talking about overall general health, and we were going to be referring to science facts. So this science that I'm talking about, when you look at various medical studies that are published, it actually, if you just Google PubMed and you put in copper peptide, up will pop hundreds of medical studies talking about how the copper peptide, the extra copper peptide in one's body, is what is responsible for helping to improve things like inflammation. It lowers inflammation, it increases the immune system, it helps to repair cells that are damaged, and on and on. So the copper peptide is the key here to longevity and that holy grail that we're talking about reversing our age and moving it back. So if you took my age, I would be about 15, 20 years younger now that I've been using the patches for over 4 years. That is an astounding statement, but people have been able to literally have that tested and proven.
So as a health coach, as someone who has been working with people for more than 38 years, what is some of the advice? What is some of the staple advice that you always want to talk about when it comes to the consistency of using the product and so forth, and the call it the buildup or the compound effect? How important is that?
Well, when you think about money, it's really fun when you put a penny in the bank and then the next day the penny doubles and becomes 2 cents. The next day after that, if you had 3 cents, you should be happy. But the compound effect is that 2 cents now doubles again to 4 cents, and 4 cents becomes 8 cents. And when you think about the compounding effect over many days and weeks, you get an astounding improvement in this whole idea of the money doubling and tripling and quadrupling. Well, the same thing happens, Carl, in our health, that when you are consistently doing something day after day, it's not just going to hobble along. You're going to start to notice that the next day you might see some improvement, but the next month you're going to see far more than just 30 days worth. You might get to 60 days or 90 days of effort. In other words, compounding happens in real life, whether it's in the banking system or whether it's with our health. When we do something long enough, you're going to notice that the body catches up and starts to heal. Now, what I mean by that is, if you have been sick for 10 years, wouldn't you expect it to be a 1-to-1 ratio? You'd need 10 years of healthy lifestyle to counteract the 10 years that you were sick. But the compounding effect will mean that you can actually shorten that, not to half, not to 5 years, but to literally 1 year or 10 months of concerted effort in improving your health. 10 months will help the 10 years that you've been sick.
Yeah, and that's important. You know, you brought up interest. We know about the effects of compound interest when it comes to our money. It's a powerful tool. It's the leverage that you want as you try to amass that. And you know, thinking about this is a little segue, but I remember reading the book. It's the biography of Warren Buffett. It's called The Snowball. Now think about that. Building a snowball. And what he built, of course, was an empire and one of the most successful investors, of all time. But our health is like that. We are building a snowball. We've got to get it rolling and keep it rolling. If it stops, it's going to become a snowbank instead of a snowball. So this is important. And when we talk about patches, we talk about using those for a minimum amount of time and then beyond that, right? Like so many years, right. So many months, right?
For every year you've been sick, you need to look at wearing the patch technology if you want to see some good results. We always talk about that we need a minimum of 3 months, no matter where you're at. Even if you haven't been sick and you just want to see how the patches work, you want to look at a 90-day trial period. But the cool thing is that even if you don't feel something, your stem cells are working and they are repairing. And when you look at after 3 months, you look at 6 months and a year and 2 years, you'll start seeing that your body starts to heal things that you'd forgotten that were even a problem. Like, for example, I broke my arm when I was 4 in 2 places. I had forgotten all about that. I started these patches. It started taking care of the thing that I really was interested in, which was my arthritis. But after about a year or 2, I noticed all of a sudden my left arm was kind of hurting in some weird way, but there was nothing wrong with it. And then all of a sudden I remembered that compounding effect was actually going in and repairing an injury that I'd had 50 years ago.
That is amazing. And while we're talking about symptoms in the body, we want to make sure that people know our patches are not designed to treat, cure, diagnose, or heal any known sickness or disease. What they are doing and what we are talking about is placing the body into a regenerative state. The word itself is reason to hope. If you can talk about regenerating something, you're bringing it back to a more correct state, a more holistic state, perhaps more natural. So we talk about the homeostasis in the body. It takes a while. If your balance is off, it's going to take a while. You've seen this with some of your clients.
Yep, that's right. I've had so many clients come and they just say, oh, I've got this, I've got that. But it really all boils down to that they're not in homeostasis. They're not in balance. And you can take like my first 35 years of being a health consultant, I worked feverishly to give people all the vitamins and minerals and the diet and the lifestyle changes and the water and the exercise. And they were overwhelmed with all the things they needed to do. But one thing that I didn't have in my tool case or in my toolbox to help them was this resetting of the genes. You can swallow all the good food and all the good nutrients, and that's all great. But you also need something that's going to help at a genetic level. And supplements and lifestyle changes can only do a little bit of that. So when I found that I could add the LifeWave patches to the toolbox of helping people, I think our listeners can have hope, Carl, that this is not a snake oil. This is not wishful thinking. This is not even placebo effect. These patches, in my experience with all of my clients, after working with them for 15, 20, 30 years, they have never been healthier than when they added the patch technology to their protocol.
And that's important to note, is that we're not a one patch wonder. We're not, drop everything and use a LifeWave patch. That's irresponsible and it's arrogant. We don't operate that way. What we say is continue doing what you're doing. So you have that constant, like in a scientific experiment, you have to have a constant, and then you're going to affect the change. And we believe when you add the patch to what you're doing, you're going to get results. Streaming across the bottom here, folks, as you see, and I'm talking with Judy Friesen, 38-year health coach and a friend of mine and someone who's very passionate to help people. If you need to get in touch with her about anything we're saying here, email us at doctalk2024@gmail.com. And the line in front of that, live long, live well, and live younger, that's happening right now for a lot of us. Because I can tell you the results in my life are off the chart. I'll share just a brief testimony that I recently went for my commercial driver's license medical, which is required every year when you reach a certain age. Guess what? I'm over 60. So I go every year to that. And the doctor tells me, wow, when he's taking my blood pressure. And I said, hello? What does that mean? He says, incredible. You have great blood pressure. Yeah, blood pressure of a young man. And visually, also important, because high blood pressure in trucking, you're done. Nobody will put you on the road with high blood pressure. You have to have that under control. But eyesight's also important. And I'm 62 and I'm not wearing glasses. And my eyes have actually improved from last year to this year. What did I do? I put a patch on. And what's important is that, again, that compound effect, doing it daily and consistently. I know you're a very disciplined person, Judy. You're wearing your patches every day, and so are your clients, right?
That's right. Most of the time, I mean, people, kind of talk to me and they confess and they feel guilty. They say, Judy, I hate to tell you this, but last week, I forgot the patches one day. And I say, hey, you know what? You're doing so well. Don't sweat it. The body is so resilient that one day here and there is not a big deal. It's if you just keep forgetting all the time. And I also know that the compound effect doesn't happen just with longevity, but it also happens with the kind of patches you wear. Like when you wear that X39, which is our foundation patch, when you add a second patch of a different kind to it, now you've got a synergy and a compounding effect in another way. So if you got some people here who are saying, man, Carl and Judy, I want to get started. I just want to get started, but I want to see results right away. Well, those people might want to take the X39 and pair it with another patch called Eon, which is the anti-inflammatory patch. Because guess what? You can be the healthiest health nut in the world, but you can't always control the lightning speed that your body responds to stress. And if you can't control the stress, then you've got problems going on in your body. And the Eon patch is what helps to calm down that stress even before you can think about it and realize it and try to calm yourself down. I love pairing the Eon patch with the X39.
Yes, absolutely. And I remember David Schmidt, who's our scientist, CEO, founder, and the inventor of all of our patches, saying there are two patches he'll never be without. One is Eon, and the X39 is the second patch. Yeah, but you talk about Eon and its inflammatory properties, anti-inflammatory properties. Most people are living in an inflamed, in some stage of inflammatory. How do you respond to that statement? Is that true for you? Do you notice that?
Yes, absolutely. And the way you know that you have inflammation is when you are puffy, when you don't heal fast, when you're having diagnoses of things that end with ITS, like arthritis, colitis. All
Yeah.
of these itises are just man's fancy way to say you've got a different kind of inflammation in a different part of your body. So, when you think about how many people are dealing with inflammation in their lungs, and so they have to use puffers. How many people are dealing with inflammation around their heart, their pericardium, and having to deal with all kinds of arrhythmias in their heart? This is a epidemic. In the webinar that I am currently taking part in this week, these top doctors in cardiology and in immunology have said that 97% of us in North America are dealing with inflammation of one kind or another, and often we don't know it. 97%. And then they said your gut is one of the worst places where you have inflammation, is in the lining of your stomach, because of all of the problem with our food and all the issues of pesticides and herbicides and additives and chemicals. So we've got a huge problem. And guess what? We can't always change or control our diet. You can go and buy the best food, but you don't even know if that carrot was growing in some kind of weird soil, or maybe the seed was altered. We talk about GMO products. So here's the thing. You can get yourself all wrapped up in a pretzel and a knot, worrying about all this stuff. But I don't worry anymore, because I know that if I put on this patch, it's going to take care of a huge percentage of the things that I can't control. And I know I'm living longer and I'm living well because of the technology that LifeWave has provided.
Yeah, we talked about it in a previous show, and it came to mind. We cannot be about the business of scrutinizing and watching everything. We're going to be living at that point in a state of fear. And as the Bible says, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but one of sound mind and good judgment. And when things are revealed to us, when they're brought to us, when a technology like LifeWave comes to the market, you want to check it out, because it's all natural. And we're living in a pharmaceutically indulgent society. We as people are accustomed to getting that instant now thing. We don't advocate for that, but there are people, I want you to speak to this, Judy. There are people that get an amazing aha out of it when they first put a patch on. That's incredible.
Yeah, a good 50-60% of people have just such an amazing they're so in tune with their body that they actually can feel the energy and the energy flow, because your cells are all talking, communicating with each other using electrical charges and sending out chemical messages. That's why it's so important, Carl, that we drink enough water, not just because we need to be well hydrated, but it's also so that when the patches are activating and working through our cellular system, we need to have that water present so that the cells can communicate and pass the chemicals on. Exactly. We need to drink water even on these podcasts. So good quality water is really important, yes. But really the quantity of water is so key to our health.
And let's talk about that for a minute. A person drinks water often when they're thirsty. That's already past the point. That's already in a state of mild dehydration, perhaps. And most of us are living in a dehydrated state. Talk to that for a minute, and what the requirement of using water is, how important it is with the LifeWave product.
Think about dehydration as if you take a plum and you dehydrate it, you let it sit out for a week or a month, it turns into a raisin. And what's the surface of a raisin? It's all wrinkly, it's all indented, and it's not plump. It doesn't have a smooth surface. when you have, this is from a doctor, when you have cells in your body that are dehydrated and they're acting like kind of like that raisin, then the chemical messages that all the cells send to each other to permeate through the cell surface to cause us to be healthy, the chemical messages can't get through that wrinkly, tight surface. It needs to have a beautiful, smooth surface so that these chemical messages can get through the cell and help our bodies to heal and to work correctly and to have the energy that we need. So we have to have plumped out cells, means that they're not wrinkled and not concave. They're nice and smooth. We need enough water.
Yeah.
We should be drinking it before we feel thirsty, like you said. And we want to think about those.
Unfortunately, we got some technical difficulties here.
Oh, is it freezing up?
All right.
Go ahead. Can you?
I'm sorry. We're here. It's actually a StreamYard issue right now, folks. They say they have an unexpectedly high traffic, and we were warned about this. So apologies. Maybe Judy, in double speed, just repeat what you said, if you could, please.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that we need to have our cells plump and have the surface of the cell plumped up so much that there's a smooth outer coating to all our cells so that the chemical messages can get through. They can't get through if the cell has shriveled like a raisin.
Yeah, very true indeed. So we've got this advanced photo light therapy patch. It's as simple as peel and stick. In the video that we showed earlier, it can literally be put on any part of the body. And it's effective. Certainly down the center meridian of our bodies, it's very effective. And it is actually that simple to put on a wafer thin patch, which Judy is showing you, about the size of a loonie or a toonie, with a 3M adhesive backing that stays on even in the water, even in the ocean, even in the pool, even in a hot tub, it stays on.
That's right. It stays on, especially if you stick it and you just rub your finger around the edge of it. It's waterproof for the whole entire day. And you can put it literally, as that video at the beginning said, anywhere on your body that it hurts, and you will start to notice some improvement. Some people, it takes minutes that they start feeling the energy flow. Others, it takes a few weeks, and others a few months. It just depends on the severity of your issues and how long that you have had that illness or that sickness. But we know that these patches are a money back guarantee because they actually work. They really do work. And when you buy them, you want to think about 3 months to start with. You get them in sleeves of 30, and it just is that simple to peel and stick.
Okay, so we're at the bottom of our time here, and I want to put up a picture because, after all, we are talking about age reversing health. And this is a friend of ours. We both know this woman, and her name is Lois. And here is a side-by-side picture of Lois taken in 2022 and taken in 2024. And I'm just going to remove that banner so we can see it. There you go, folks. The lady on the left and the lady on the right are the same people. And if you ask Lois, as her friends often do, what are you doing? You can see she's wearing a patch right there in her throat area there. That's likely a detoxifier, but take a look at the pictures. They speak for themselves. This is actually possible. Now, here is the icing on the cake. Lois is turning 77 this year.
Amazing.
You know, if a picture is worth 1,000 words, then that picture speaks a few thousand words. And we just like to show that to you because, again, as we've said, Judy, we're not talking about some kind of wishful thinking thing that maybe it works for some and doesn't work for the other. The fact is, it actually works for everybody. The issue is, are you patient enough? And are you consistent enough in using the product? So, Judy, give us your wrap up on this compound effect and the incredible technology of LifeWave, and particularly the X39.
Yeah, you know what? This patch doesn't just work when it's on. You get another kind of a compound effect in that it continues to cause your body to heal itself, even when you take the patch off, because you always want to have a little break every 24-hour period from the patch. So when we think about the simplicity of putting on a patch, it stimulates your body, not just for an hour. Like if you go to a physiotherapist or an acupuncturist, you're going to get a half hour, an hour treatment at best. Guess what? This patch is working for the full day that you're wearing it, all day long. And it is remarkable after you have cleared out the junk and the body has taken out the garbage and it starts to lay down the new cells. That's when you'll notice the compounding effect. It is the simplest technology that I've ever worked with, and it's given the greatest results that I've ever worked with. Even when I fall off the wagon, so to speak, and cheat and I have a donut or I forget to drink enough water, this patch is still healing my body, and I feel 15 to 20 years younger, Carl.
That's fantastic. Well, folks, I want to thank you, Judy, again for your wisdom of all the years. And like you say, you've been helping people. And now that you have the LifeWave technology in your tool belt, it's really made quite a difference. So folks, here's 3 things to take from the show. It's peel and stick technology, drink water, take your total body weight in pounds, divide it in half. That many ounces is the requirement. And wear it 12 hours on, 12 hours off. And the compound effect of doing this is going to be noticeable. Judy, thank you so much. I'm already looking forward to next week's call.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Well, here we are. We're talking about age reversing health. We believe it's possible. We can show you the proof in terms of pictures, and we can let you listen to the testimonies of individuals such as myself, Judy, and thousands of millions of other people. LifeWave technology is now available in more than 80 countries around the world. And it is such an incredible technology that doctors, more and more doctors are coming to examine the claims and what is LifeWave all about. And they're just simply blown away. We've got an all natural health technology that actually can help you age reverse. So when you talk about health and you talk about age reversal, in my opinion, those are definitely things that matter. Thank you so much for joining us. Join us again here next week. Bring a friend. We're at the same time on Thursday, 7 o'clock Manitoba, 5 o'clock on the Pacific Coast, and 8 o'clock Eastern. God bless you wherever you are. Here's to living well and living younger.